I think this is a pen holder, but there is a straw in there, and it is secure. We have one OJ glove. That's pretty cool. 24. That was worth everything. Coolest part of the review, hands down. What's up, everybody? My name is Elliot, and welcome to another segment of Other People's Cars. If you aren't familiar with this segment, it's where I take cars that are not mine, give them a quick look over, as well as take a look at the personal items within each vehicle. Today we have a 2017 Range Rover Supercharged. This massive Luxo barge is powered by a 5-liter supercharged V8 that makes 510 horsepower and is capable of sending it to 60 in under 5 seconds. Apparently it'll also do the quarter mile in about 13.2 seconds, and those are massively impressive numbers from a car that weighs over 5,000 pounds and is a little taller than I am. That's a huge wind profile to overcome, not to mention, well, look at it. But anyway, that's enough about the specs. Let's take a look inside and around this Range Rover and see what's in it. First off, when you open the door, you are greeted to a nice contrast to that black exterior. You're greeted with an oasis of cream. One thing, all digital gauge cluster, nice infotainment system here. It apparently shows the Land Rover icon at all times, which is essentially just the Ford icon, but green. So now we're in the Range Rover. Let's take a look around. First of all, you'll notice no gear shifter. That is here. That'll rise up when we actually drive it. As far as what's in the door here, we have an open thing of wet Kleenexes, which are expectedly bone dry. That's not going to do you any good. A couple of coupons, Chicken Max, and designer shoe warehouse. Could come in handy. Ooh, we have a camelback harness for a small dog or a water bottle. I mean, it'd be a pretty small dog, but you can imagine, you know, you put little Fido in this thing and then puts, you know, he'd have some utility. Not much, but interesting. What else? Oh, hand sanitizer, but this is Suave hand sanitizer. Presumably, this won't burn your hands as badly. Let me give this a whirl. Ooh, I got way too much there. Either I don't have any cuts, or the Suave magic is really the way to go. Not looking good, Germex. What else do we have here? I'm gonna put some of this back. Range Rover and Land Rover have these really, what I would say, goofy armrests. Like they just are really thin and look weird, and they haven't changed this design since like the 90s at least. So they have this knob on the end, and what that does is like changes the position where it'll actually rest. If for some reason you wanted your armrest to stop like up here where your hand was up, you can do that. I don't know, the adjustability is bizarre, and honestly it's not that comfortable. There's really not that much padding here. All Land Rovers have it. I'm a little disappointed that the Range Rover didn't do something a little bit more executive. Let's see what's in here. Center console. Ooh, Viagra. We can't show this. I don't know what these are. It's a leave. Okay, it's fine. Okay. A nicely attached cord. I mean, normally people don't wind those up. They usually just wad them up and stick them in there. Workout headphones. Pretty neat. Some Orbit, a carabiner from Trailer Town. Heyo. Shout out Lot Lizards. Some Blistex. You know, your lips get chapped. It doesn't matter who you are. Keys. Oh, this is a good one. A half-used water additive. This is like basically a Propel, or in this case, a Celsius. It feels very solid down here, so I don't think this is any good anymore. But, you know, in case of emergencies, a little flashlight. Question though, does it work? No. This is gonna do no good in an emergency. Hair tie, an Android charger, gross. Ugh. I'm gonna get rid of this for them. Let's see here. For external use only. Oh, a good antiseptic hand wipe. You know, we're living in Corona times. Let's see here. Ooh, 2 white pills. These don't say what they are. A gambling man would just take one of each and see what happens. A partially open toothpick that is sitting on spare change. I might use I might send a word to the owner. Probably don't use this. This is definitely worse than whatever's in your teeth. Don't use a toothpick that's been sitting on spare change. Interestingly though, down here, it's got a spot for a SIM card, an HDMI input, and 2, what that little SS means, 2 USB 3.0 slots. Pretty interesting that they'd bother to put high-speed USB in a car, but that's Range Rover. I bet you in the Land Rover, you get like USB 1.0. So you might be wondering what this little switch is for here, and this is where the rubber meets the road on luxury cars. You don't have a luxury car unless you have one of these. Under here is an actual refrigerator. So you turn that on, and of course you have the necessities. 1 bottle of water, and this is different than the normal bottle of water that you find in cars that I review, because this one's actually still pretty chilly. And you have a nice, fresh-looking Gatorade, not sun-faded and still, again, pretty chilly. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and do the owner of this car a favor and stick their gum in there too. A nice, cold Orbit will do nicely on a summer day. Let's keep going. Now I've made a mess of the center console, actually, so I actually need to put some of the stuff back. Oh, you know what, though? While I'm putting this away, this is basically a Blistex holder. This looks meant to hold this. That is perfect. It's not easy to get out, but boy, it's like meant for it. So for those of you who haven't driven a newer car, you'll also notice this has an electronic parking brake. That's what this big thing is for here. No more big foot brake over here or actual hand brake. Those are dead. Another interesting thing about this interior that I was shown is this has a cover for these cup holders, but it doesn't just open and close with the energy of your hand. No, that's pedestrian. Look at this. Soft close. That's luxury. Another thing this Range Rover is outfitted with is a panoramic sunroof with a shade that's electronic, which is pretty cool because it just goes back forever. Now check that out. That is just awesome. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. And yeah, now it's over. And you can also open up this top panel, but who cares? It's just really cool to have a sunroof that basically goes back the entire length of the car. All right, moving on to the passenger side of the Range Rover, let's see what we have here. We've already covered pretty much the entire driver's side. Let's just see what's in this door pocket. Looks like an open bag of antibacterial wipes, an open bag of antibacterial wipes, and an umbrella with music notes. That's nice. Other than that, ooh, look, storage pocket here. Didn't realize this had this. Kendra Scott, do some sunglasses. That's fancy. Some more sunglasses. That's a cool little storage pocket there. Now you'll also notice from sitting in the passenger side here, it doesn't have a traditional glove box opening. There's no like handle there. It has these two electronic buttons here. The first one just kind of opens that up, and you can see in here you got some car wash wipes, microfiber towels. These are things you want to keep in your car when you have an all black vehicle with black exterior trim. Let's see, what's this? Ban. Roll-on deodorant, presumably. Notepad, and looks like we got one OJ glove. That's pretty cool. Owner's manual. Let's see here. I hope this is a Land Rover gift card because you will need it. Nope, this is just a card to keep in your wallet to show you how to jump it because presumably you will need to jump this car at some point. That's very nice of Land Rover to include. A mask. That's really about it in here. You know, the OJ glove that is what it is. Note, interestingly though, it has this second button. So this one, okay, I can hear it. That's typical British Leyland electronics. Come on, open. Oh, okay. I was expecting this to open. It's this. Oh, look at this. This is a gold mine. Okay, I think this is a pen holder, but there is a straw in there and it is secure. We have some pistachios, toothpicks. Now these you could use. Oh, brush picks, so even better. Iodized salt, these are good. You definitely do not want a throat goiter, and iodized salt is a good way to keep away throat goiters. Zip Fizz, energy drink stuff, okay. Migraine relief. Now these pills make a lot of sense to have in a Range Rover because a few years down the line, this thing's gonna be breaking down and causing you all sorts of service expenses, so these pills are very, very handy. A good thing to keep in your Range Rover. A pocket knife, matches. This is like a whole nail kit and a whistle. This is definitely, you can tell the owner of this vehicle is a mom because that is a mom preparedness kit right there. I don't want to dig too much into that. We have another Tylenol thing, presumably, again, because of the expenses and headache that this car will cost you eventually. Ah, here's something interesting. Subaru what? Subaru sunscreen. Okay, imagine you're in your Land Rover, you're cruising, and you're just getting sunburnt on just the top of your head because of this panoramic sunroof. Thankfully, the folks at Subaru make a quarter-sized dollop of sunscreen that comes in a little packet. I think that's a good thing to always keep in your Land Rover. We got chocolate chip cookie dough bar from Costco. Earplugs, that's kind of funny because this car's really quiet. Hydrocortisone cream, you never know. You're just wandering around in some poison ivy or whatever. You have, I guess, a cigarette lighter. Oof, okay, yes. This It was really in there. All of this though is kind of funny because like if you were going to be charging a phone from something right here, I mean I can't get this thing to stay down to save my life. So this is a very weird compartment. But anyway, I think that about does it for all of the personal items that are up front. Let's see if there's anything in the back seat and then move on to the hatch. All right, let's move on to the back seat. Okay, back here we have, I guess, a towel, a pillow, which is nice. Let me just get all the way in here. And when you're back here, boy, you can see the panoramic sunroof is very cool. The back passengers also have their own climate control, which is really cool, and their own little plaque that says Range Rover, just in case you forget what kind of vehicle you're in. Just, man, this thing's like Tempur-Pedic. That's pretty cool. Another little towel. Ooh, a Land Rover official blanket. Folks, remember right now, as we sit here, it is 92 degrees and the back seat of this vehicle is outfitted with several blankets and towels. The question is, does this go with my theory of every Kansan being worried about being trapped in their car during a snowstorm? Probably. But also, if you're that cold, turn the AC down. I mean, you've got your own climate controls here. Lastly, we have another little jacket. I don't think there's anything, oh, just a napkin. These storage pockets are pretty nice. They're like bungeed. Let's move on to the back hatch. Okay, so the top opens up, but then the cool thing about these is this bottom part also opens, so it becomes like a little tailgate, which is pretty sweet. This is a little privacy deal, and it just kind of like flips out of the way. I'm not gonna mess with it. Got a nice floor mat there. Oh, man. This thing's heavy, and it says 8 pounds, but I know what it is. It's a weight vest thing for when you're not working out enough. Yeah, I do feel 8 pounds heavier. I'm gonna keep this on for now. A folded up baggie, that's nice. Another baggie, and another baggie. All right, so that's about it for the back of this thing. I probably wanna get this weight vest off because, well, I don't need to weigh 8 more pounds, and it is hot. So 1 second. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's a weight vest for people, or it's for a dog if you want to make your dog 8 pounds heavier. The only other thing of note back here is it has little controls to fold down the rear seats from back here, which is nice because this will all fold flat. At first I was going to try to lift this tailgate up manually, but then I was like, ugh, gross. Imagine paying this much for a car and actually having to lift the tailgate up. But then I noticed it has this button back here to lift itself up. Oh, that is cool. And then of course you have your typical button there to close itself. Okay, so that was cool the way I just did it, but apparently if you press this one first while the tailgate's down, it'll do both at the same time, and I'm so ready for that. Oh, that is neat. That is cool. That is what you pay the extra money for. That was worth everything. Coolest part of the review. Hands down. All right, now let's get this thing out on the road and see what it drives like. All right, out on the road in the Range Rover Supercharged. I keep wanting to say Sport. It's not. The Sport is like a whole different kind of Range Rover. All right, I didn't even give it the gas, and we are already exceeding the speed limit by 10 miles an hour. This thing is deceptively easy to speed in. It's weird because you're so up high, and it's just kind of floating over these bumps that you normally see me kind of crashing around in, but that is a 6-figure car for you. It should do those things. All right, now we're gonna pull out into traffic here. I'm gonna give it the beans a little bit, or a lot, we'll see. Whoa, it really puts you back in your seat. That is incredible. All right, we got going. That was, for YouTube purposes, faster than highway speeds, and in a very short amount of time. And that is just, it's just a crazy feeling being in a car this massive. And you heard, I was flooring it and it didn't make that much noise. It just pushed me back in my seat and went. That's incredible. Oh, here we go. I actually have to turn around, and this is a good time to show. The gear shifter is a knob, not a traditional gear shifter, which a lot of people don't like. I don't really care. The amount of time you spend shifting gears in a car is negligible, so how you do it really doesn't matter if you're honest with yourself. Going down another road here, which means I can give it the beans again. I'm kind of speechless because it just seems impossible for this thing to be that fast. And I feel like we're at the top of a tower with how much visibility and everything there is. Oh, we just hit a bug. That was gross. In the end, if you haven't driven a car from the last 3 years, let alone a very, very nice car, things have gotten so much better since like 2008 and up, the difference in the way cars drive is incredible. And the more expensive the car, the better it drives. And this is certainly no exception. It's just a really, really comfortable car that happens to be massively fast. I haven't driven the V6 version of this, but I don't want to. This is just, why would you get this any other way? This is perfect. No wonder everyone in California has one of these. So there you have it, guys. That is the 2017 Range Rover Supercharged. It's an ultra luxurious, ultra black, ultra fast SUV. And this thing really is fast. It's very hard to communicate that on camera because it just feels so weird going that quickly in a car this high up that you feel is this heavy. Not to mention, it's just luxurious inside. That should be a given its price and its reputation, but it really is a nice place to sit. Every surface you touch is plush and feels right. If you can get over the future expenses that this thing will probably have when it inevitably starts to have electrical problems, it's a really cool car to own for at least the first 5 years. This one also had some pretty interesting things inside of it and tons of storage pockets to put them in. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this episode of Other People's Cars. Drop me a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. And other than that, do the usual thing, leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, do all the other normal YouTube stuff, and I will see you on the next video. LIM, I'm assuming it means speed limit, but it could mean limp imitation module. Yeah, it could mean anything with that kind of an acronym. I don't know, what else could that mean? Lobster instigation machine. I don't know what else that could mean, but it does have that button in case you were wondering. Floor it in limited mode.
Still full power.
What is this limiting? what? Okay, it's a speed limiter. I just clicked it and floored it. It still let me go really fast. Apparently that either needs to be set up or it's limited at an impossibly high speed. That just means I can keep making up acronyms for what I think it means, because it clearly doesn't mean speed limit. Louisiana, Indiana, Montana mode. It's a very targeted market button. I don't know. What does it stand for? Let me know in the comments. And I don't actually need real answers. You can just make stuff up. Here's a YouTube insider thing. A lot of times I have to stop recording because a plane's flying over. And that's what happens when you live and work right next to two huge airports. And I'll turn it off so you can watch it go away. Bye-bye. You can tell I have a kid because I'm like, say bye-bye, gear shifter.